Call this Village of Greenhills Council meeting to order for the regular council meeting of March 28th, 2017. Clerk, call the roll.
Gavode, Dries,
Here.
Halter,
Here.
Hermes, here, Lee,
Here.
Walther, here, Moore,
Here. Okay, and we have a prayer by Mr. Dries.
Lord, we ask that you watch over our community, that you would bless it, that you would cause it to prosper. Watch over our residents. We pray that you would grant health to them, that we would be a neighborhood that serves one another. Give us, the elected officials and those that are municipal employees, wisdom in our decision making. We ask that you protect our public service workers, our police and fire, as they go about our community serving and protecting. We ask this all in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have the regular council meeting minutes for February 28th and the work session for the 14th was canceled. Any comments or questions on the minutes?
Will we have minutes for the retreat as well, since it's considered a work session at the next meeting?
Okay, hearing none, minutes stand approved. This is the time for residents to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the lectern, give your name and address, and state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone? All right. Reports of village officials, Municipal Manager Yvonne Kovac.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to mention a couple of items that are on your agenda tonight. One of them being the Hamilton County Solid Waste Management Plan. And again, it's a lengthy plan. I did give you a summary with my report. And the item that stands out to me that I think we will benefit from is the fact that going forward, we'll be able to count the yard waste, the brush that we turn into compost. We're going to be able to include that tonnage in our twice a year we file for this report, and we receive a small reimbursement back for it for recycling purposes. So that we should definitely see a difference, since that's something that we do a brush year round leaves pretty extensively. So the second item is the engineering. This again, if you remember with our Nature Works project, is when we ran into an issue where the engineer came back with a bid that was just extreme. Certainly isn't something that we could handle with the size of that project. So I did look into another engineering firm, and I am recommending JMA Consultants. I have, this was actually discussed in committee where I was able to present the different wage rate, pay rates that they have, pay scales they have for some of their people that kind of showed the difference. And as I said here, anywhere from 11 to 29%. CT is higher than CDS, so I am recommending JMA. The bike path program that came to us through Ohio Department of Transportation, and they're actually, I think it's probably attached to the resolution that you have on this item. Any community that was going to have a portion of this project running through their communities being asked to send in a resolution of support for it. So there is a piece that runs through Forest Park and down to Lake Ridge, along that, literally along the road, through Greenhills. So that's why they asked if we would submit a resolution of support for that effort. And then I think I have the other things are there as reminders. I've reviewed them with you before. So that concludes my report.
Any comments or questions? All right, Law Director Jeff Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one item to report to council. Over the course of the last few weeks, I've been working with the managers regarding a zoning violation that we have discovered at the shopping center. Took all the proper steps to notify the property owner as well as the tenant of the violation, gave them an appropriate amount of time to bring it into compliance. That didn't happen. So last week, we did file suit in Hamilton County Court of Common Pleas to get a declaratory judgment and an injunction to bring the property into compliance. The suit was filed against Village Gate LLC as the property owner, and E&B Auto Collision and Repair is the tenant. It's a auto body repair shop, and that property is not zoned for that.
Is this on the back side of the shopping center?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And as my understanding, we filed on Wednesday of last week. The certified mail summons went out Thursday of last week. I'm just waiting to see the return of service to see once they get served and see if we can get that property into compliance.
Comments or questions? All right. Clerk of Council, Catherine Lyons.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I would report to you that the March 17th community calendar and ordinance numbers 2017-01 LNR, 02 RC, 03 LNR, 04 LNR, and resolution numbers 2017-06 LNR, 07 SNS, 08 S, 09 F, and 10 F were posted as required. Additionally, the notice of the Community Development Block Grant Public Hearing notice of March 28th, 2017, and a flyer on the Cincinnati Museum Center's walking tour of Greenhills was posted, and the date of that function is April 30th, 2017. And if there are no questions, that will conclude my report.
Hearing no questions, Chief of Police Neil Furlman.
Thank you, Mayor. On March 1st, we picked up our newest 2017 Ford Interceptor Cruiser, which you approved earlier this year. It was taken for decaling and outfitting, and to show you how long it takes, 28 days later, it sits in our lot as of about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we're very pleased to be able to put that unit into service. We also ordered 2 Motorola portable police radios. We anticipated their arrival at the end of the month. We actually have them also today. So good things are happening, and we are receiving these things. These radios are around $4,000 a month. We always wait, just like a good retailer or business, I guess. Motorola seems to run an annual sale, and we always wait for that. And we were pleased to have a $1,200 savings on these 2 radios. So we're very happy to have those. We are incrementally replacing those, which as of, I believe, next year, will no longer have parts available for them. We're also excited, and I guess maybe we get excited over small things, but we have a new bathroom floor. It was pretty nasty, and we're excited that the method that we got that was quite a cost savings. Mike Castor, our service foreman, volunteered to do that, and he did that over a 2-day period. And if any of you want tours, they're available. We also, we worked with our municipal manager on getting some costs for some of our other flooring replacements, and it just so happens that Officer Patton is multi-talented, that in a prior life he knows how to operate stripping, buffing, and waxing equipment. And so we took another look at our booking room and hallway floors, and they also are shiny enough that you could eat off of them. So he actually took 2 days to do that. I would have given Tony a light duty assignment on a day when we had sufficient personnel. Tony got real excited when he got the equipment, was in uniform, and ended up completing it, and all in one weekend. So it certainly is a nice addition to our facility. We are down to 1 part-time police officer vacancy. Our top candidate next week on Tuesday will be undergoing one of the final stages, the psychological examination. So we're pretty excited to have him at that point. Heroin addiction and abuse, unfortunately, is still taking its toll in 2017. We thought 2016 was going to be the high year. Dr. Samarco, our Hamilton County coroner, sent out statistics that during the first 2 months of 17 alone, there have been over 100 overdoses. We had one recently as about 2 weeks ago here in our community, but that is double the 2016 year-to-date rate. We've continued working on some collaborative efforts on our accreditation. The state has gotten into the accreditation business, and that is typically for the agencies that have not been through the full-blown CALIA accreditation that we have been in since 2007. So it was almost a perfunctory approval. We had Chief Mike Dickey, who is the police chief in Fairfield. He was assigned by the state of Ohio to come down and assess us, and he did that on March 16th and gave us a thumbs up. So I included a copy of the provisional certification we received from the state, but they emailed us Friday and said they would be sending us our full certification sometime later this week. So we look forward to that. Also, all of last week, we combined a trip into two purposes. Our accreditation manager, Vonda Sequoy, and I were in Mobile, Alabama. We did testify before the full accreditation commission on Saturday. They did grant us our full accreditation on Saturday, so we're pleased to report to you that that was done successfully. And also the process is changing from all paper-based to all computer-based. It's a pretty sophisticated program, and after the first class, Ms. Coy and I looked at each other and said, we're never going to figure this out. But we stuck with it for 3 more days, and we think we've got it under our belts. So that, I think, was very beneficial training. During the month of February, we had an unusual amount of accidents. We had 13. That's up from 5 the year before. We had a low amount of crimes, on the other hand. 3 crimes down from 6 last February. 112 other incidents. We made 500 contacts with our citizens. 260 of those were dispatched or received by telephone as compared to 234 last February, and 240 of those were initiated by our officers. We provided assistance to the public in 70 instances. We assisted our surrounding agencies 22 times, and we made 23 criminal arrests and 100 traffic arrests. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any comments or questions?
Just the comment that the 3 crimes that were committed resulted in arrests, so good job to the police
100%
department.
commercial.
And I'll make a comment on the heroin situation, a statistic from last year, I guess it was, that I attended a Hamilton County Board of Health annual meeting that they put out. A disturbing one to me is that 100 orphans were created last year as a result of heroin overdoses. People not thinking clearly with children involved.
In a county just north of ours last week, some of you may have seen it on the news, teenagers discovered their parents, one of whom was an airline pilot.
Yeah. It's terrible. All right, the mayor's reports. I have court receipts for the month of February. The county received $93 from the village. Court fines, the state $2,353, and the village of Greenhills $9,797 for a grand total of $12,243. And that's all I have. We have committee reports. Community Development, Jeff Halder.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Couple of things. We had our community development meeting on March 14th, and it went well. We covered a number of issues. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is code and zoning enforcement. There is a brochure that has been available for a little while now. Where can they get their hands on this? Is this on the website?
It is on the website.
Okay.
They can get it here at the post office, here at the
Okay.
Tribune. And there was a direct mailing, and we included in our new resident packet as well.
So you should have your hands on a set of this. I forgot about the direct mailing. But it's also on the website in case you misplaced it and want to know what's the proper procedure to do something concerning your property. Another thing is we're looking at how we can promote our NHL standing. We are looking at possible bumper sticker options. We covered this during the retreat. I did order 100 of these, and they are going to be window clings. They will say, not Pioneer Dream, but historic landmark designation. Well, I won't say designation, but that'll be in there in place of Pioneering a Dream. So we'll just see how those go, and then we can, maybe expand to bumper stickers or not, depending on the desire of the community and what people think. I know there's some people that are anti-bumper stickers, and we thought the safe thing to start with would be the window cling and start to get the word out, and what better way than when you're driving around to do that. But that's concludes my report.
Comments or questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. Was anybody able to ask about having the historical nomination on the license plates, like you have for UC Lowell
Right.
and you have for Ohio State?
And Matt passed that information on to me. I did not contact them yet.
Okay.
That happened at the retreat. I think it's a really interesting thing. I think a real low minimum, you had to have at least 25 residents make that purchase to keep it going, or without a charge or something
And
like
the
that.
charge is not that much, is it?
I don't know. I have to look back at
Yeah.
the,
I didn't think it was,
yeah. But I'll make a note of that.
Okay.
I wish I would have gotten to that beforehand, but
because that looks like something very appealing, and if
I
it's
agree.
not very expensive, it's something that it's really would show off our village and the nomination as well.
I think it's a good suggestion. I'm glad you brought it back up.
Also, have you thought about having those covers for the license plates?
The bracket.
The bracket.
frame, or
Sometimes they
whatever.
have it for the Reds and the Bengals,
Yeah.
and
Bless you.
bless you. Since we happen to have this once in a life,
Right. I mean,
deal, we might as well try to find out as much as we can
sure. And
that we can do.
what's nice about those two options, there are people that are concerned about putting a bumper sticker on their
Correct,
car.
and these
And
ones
that's
are,
something that you pretty
Yeah.
much have on there one way or another.
Correct.
So I think those are both good
We could
suggestions.
give them to people that don't have front license plates as a,
An incentive to do a front license.
There you go.
well,
So bring them into compliance. The other, I'm positive we can have the frames done. It's a
Okay.
question of what the minimum order quantities are and that kind of thing. So any of that kind of promotion stuff, I get magazines on a daily, catalogs on a daily basis.
but I thought
and
that would be
kind of stuff.
something, I don't know, nice to have ready, let's say for May,
Yeah,
when we're supposed
I
to
agree.
be in full blown of,
yeah, both suggestions are good suggestions.
okay, and then I was not able to go to the March 14th meeting, but
Right.
I'm referring back to one before
Right,
or two
right.
before.
Sure.
Is there any update about the stickers for the marking of the path,
Sure.
since we are now in the springtime? And the second one was about the benches. And at that time, there were several things thrown at a time, whether to have the owners that would have the bench right in front to do certain things, if someone is loitering or this and that and the other. And we said at the time, I remember that the conclusion was we were not doing anything at that time because it was coming into winter and we cannot move the benches in the winter time, and weather has
Right. Yes, there
been
has,
compliant.
we did cover that. I did receive Patricia Bender's text from her this morning, but I was about ready to step into a class, so I couldn't respond to her directly.
Okay.
But where we are now is we do not want to put benches on private property. There's a number of reasons for that. I can spell that out and put it in a letter to her and to anybody else that's interested. It makes for a bigger conversation. It's a complex thing to put a public bench on private property. As far as the decals, Those have been done for a while, but it was right before winter, made no sense.
I know that it was
Right.
not possible, but I just wonder
Right.
if that has picked up again in the conversation.
Well, I don't know the immediate plan. I know one of the things that we were trying to address, and Mike's on, is the street sign that's on Sharon Road. That was rotten and starting to fall apart. I know that they've done a nice job in putting together a new sign for that, even though we're looking at signs across the board. So I think the priority's been more on that line, getting something that when you come into an entry point, that it looks good. There are labels down on the ground. The only ones we're doing is replacing
The ones that are gone.
that are gone.
Correct.
Those are in Mike's possession, or they're here, and I'm sure it's just a matter of weather.
Okay.
I would think we're getting closer and, to putting those down.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but were all the benches suggested to be on private property, or were some in the common property owned by the village?
I don't recall any by the village. I know that.
I thought there were some, that's what I'm,
Yeah.
You did move some, didn't you?
You did move some.
that was on the path, on the walking path areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and I think, and you can pick up on this and expound on it. I think one of the things we want to look at too is, I did sign up for the the historic walk through the Cincinnati is it Museum Center. And so we want to find out, and we're talking with the Historical Society, if we have people come into town and we do, our walking paths are good. They were set up more from an exercise standpoint on distance. We might want to look at a path or a modification that covers key historical
Areas,
pieces, so
yeah.
that it becomes more of a historical path emphasis than an exercise path procedure. We're excited to make progress with that and work closely with, Beth and Historical Society on that. But any other updates as far as map or plan and benches, or where we are on that whole?
We're working on an updated map with the current locations.
Okay.
And promise the last one,
That's right.
I'm throwing it to you because you are the one usually with the is the artiste of our table here. The brochure that we have there,
Yes.
it turned out to be such a nice thing to have. Has there been any conversations or thoughts of have something similar that would be geared towards the businesses on the shopping center? So they will not be having a zoning violation or something like that, and if they would, we said, well, look at the brochure for businesses, and here is the do's and the don'ts type of thing, and perhaps working together with the owner of the shopping center to work with that, so he would have some to give to the new.
There is new business packets, and I know that I'm supposed to look at that whole combination. I will say that I think part of the issue is the current information we do have is not getting to the business owners.
That's what I'm concerned
Right.
with,
We have
and
it,
so
like-
therefore we
Yeah.
need to put it together as a welcoming packet for the businesses.
Well, but if we don't know,
We
if we
don't
don't
even
know
know
if
who
the
they
business
are.
is moving in, we don't,
Right.
and we have no.
Well, could we have some
indicator.
kind of communication with the owner?
We
I
do.
have lots of communication with you.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
to do, yeah,
They've
and
received it
then,
a number of times.
and then
a
also,
number
Mr.
of
Mayor,
ways.
I talked to you before, I would love to have, and you suggested a work session, to have perhaps the owner come forth to inform us or let us know some of
He's,
the vision of what he has for the shopping center.
When did he say he would have his renderings potentially finished? Was it July or
July.
something like that? So sometime possibly this summer, when he gets his plans all together.
Does it sound like a feasible thing to do on a work
Well, if
session?
he's interested.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other piece, I think that we looked at some signage that is okay and it could be put in place for the shopping center currently. But, I mean, all good topics, good questions. I've tried to work very closely and have spent literally hours and done a lot of free work because I'm on community development with the ad and trying to help the businesses down there and work through him. And, but I can't make him give information those that are there or tell us who's moving in there. And hopefully that'll change.
Oh, and I have one last.
Oh, no.
Now, talking about the advertisement you brought in for signage and so forth, there is one that looks like a sale of a boat.
No,
The phone.
you mean the thing in the street?
Yes.
They've been ordered to take it down.
Oh, okay, all right.
I saw the sale too.
I figured
All right.
that would be something to you, like that man, that, you know, the air guy, whatever it was that, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Safety, Melanie Hermes.
We met today. We went over a lot of the stuff that the chief talked about earlier, and we also brought to the committee some ordinance and about from Mayor's Court for computerization funds. We're looking to update that as well. Yvonne's going to be combining two of them or possibly getting them looked at to get in front of the council at a later date so that they can use the money. It's for computerization for the clerk of courts and Mayor's Court, but to use it as well for the police computers as well, since they're a lot of everything they do ends up with the clerk of courts.
Any comments or questions?
Just not forget from the fire chief that we have the April egg hunt
The
on the
April-
16th at 2 p.m.
And over at 2:02.
To 2. Well, that's when it will be over,
Yes.
probably, okay.
Yes, it'll be on the Commons.
And then
on-
somebody had mentioned that the Troubadour was going to be open that Easter Sunday to accommodate some of the people afterwards and so forth. I received an email on that, so perhaps someone can
So the
follow.
Easter egg hunt is on Easter Sunday at 2
Easter
o'clock.
At
Sunday
2 o'clock.
at 2 o'clock on the Commons.
And it will be over by 2:02.
Yes, if you come a minute late, don't bother. The eggs are already
It will be
gone.
gone.
Little Hoovers.
Okay, Finance and Audit, Glenn Breeze.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a brief report. Congratulations to all of you that are getting raises. Our income tax receipts for February are up 5%. We're up 35% year-to-date on income tax. So some of your Christmas bonuses evidently arrived in January. We're early in the year, and that will probably work its way back to a middle single-digit number, I'm hopeful. We actually requested and received our real estate tax money from the county. We got that early. Last year at this time, we'd gotten $10,900. This year, we've gotten $130,000, so our increase over last year, year-to-date, is 1,092%. So our numbers are a little lumpy right now, but they'll work their way back to some kind of normalcy. And our overall year-to-date general fund revenue, because income tax and real estate are our two biggest components of that, are actually up 114% over prior year again. We're ahead $120,000 on the real estate tax, and so if you back that out and then you factor in that we're getting some additional money with the garbage collection of $58,000, we're about where we should be. Our fund balance in the general fund is $77,000 lower than it was last year at this time. And again, I will say this till it reverses the trend in about 4 or 5 years, that as we use general fund money to pay off non-voted debt, that number will continue to trend downward and then trend back upward, we hope. And then on the expense side, the two biggest funds are general fund and police. And we have expended about $62,000 more this year than last year at this time. And the big components to that would be the timing and payment of the new Rumpke contract, which was $27,000 more than this time last year. We had to buy a boiler for the Mark Courthouse, which was $14,000. And on the police side, the outfitting of the new cruiser was $7,000 that wasn't in last year, and the communication center invoice timing for $22,000. Overall, our budget is what we projected. I think that's a fair overall assessment. I think that we should, if we don't have surprises on the downside, either on the income or expense side, and we stick to our fiscal discipline, and we renew the operating levy in November, I would suspect that I anticipate this year being a solid year financially, one that we've planned for appropriately, and we'll end up the year about where we project, at least at this time. That's what it's looking like. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to ask them or answer them. I'd be happy to ask them and answer them, I guess.
Comments or questions? All right, Recreation, Cable Television, Maria Walther.
I attended the meeting for the Waycross on March the 15th. The next one is June the 14th. They're preparing for summer camps. This is their 35th year. They have a resolution 2017-01 for property as surplus to be disposed properly. The CHIP reported that we are on target for the budget this year with a projected surplus of $10,000. There was an audit by the state auditor and it's completed. I was delighted to see that something was added on to the program that they have for volunteers. They're in need of volunteers. They came up with an application form. They put it on the Waycross website. They sent one for us here in Greenhills. I suspect they sent one to Forest Park as well. And what they would like is for anyone that is interested would look and see the needs that they have. And we are going to announce at an earlier time when they need or there's any vacancies, so you will have an idea of what they will be looking for. And the list of things that they will need could be also the need filled by taking courses that they offer there, so you will have some information on how things work in there. And some of the things that they would like to know is, for example, if you have a video production and editing skills, design and development, public speaking skills, and writing skills, etc. So please take a look at the website for the application, and that way they will have it ahead of time and they will be able to plan accordingly. The Recreation Committee will meet on the 6th of April, and not with the commission, just the committee at 6:30. The commission will meet on the 13th at 7. I'm going to be informing my co-chair for the plans that we have for the year, that we're still working on it diligently. I meet once a month with the staff to figure out what we need to put together for the many things that we try to do, the days at the pool, the Harvest Fest, and today was just one of those special moments. Walking in, there was a radio station on the premise, delivering ice cream. I had a very nutritious Greater Sunday, but I secured the gentleman's email address and be in consultation with him to see if this radio station can be promoting our Harvest Fest, which they said there would be no problem, and B, I'm trying to entice them to be on the premises during the Harvest Fest. So we had a lot of things that we're planning, and we hope that everybody will be looking forward to this year's activities. And with that, conclude my report. Anybody has any questions?
I just had one question. Did we ever inform Alois Alzheimer's Center that about the date of the Harvest Fest, just so that I know that they're not doing it in the common area like they did before. But it probably would be just courtesy to let them know if we have.
Brenda, I
any-
think, was supposed to do that and the contact of other places. In fact, I had a packet to give to certain people, and then we changed something at the last minute, last meeting, so I'm hoping to get a new packet finalized for this Tuesday, so I can start knocking at doors and trying to
Sure.
get the people involved.
And as you know, we had the street banner done, and one side was promoting the run.
Correct.
So it'd be nice to know, is that synchronized?
Correct.
Even if it's not, I just think can be a little bit confusing to people since it's the same banner, but thank you.
It was to my recollection, I think it was that Brenda Davis was supposed to get in contact and make the initial contact of some of those things. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ms.
Yeah, I'll check with her. I don't know if the Alzheimer was part of that, but I'll check with her.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules, Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The committee met on March 13th. There were two agenda items for that meeting. The first was to review the draft of a resolution opposing the centralized collection of business income tax proposed in the Ohio State budget. The resolution was approved, and the resolution is before you tonight for passage. The other item, we were asked to review the Duke Energy PUCO application for higher distribution rates. We reviewed them. We were aggravated, but took no other action on it. And I'm sure the PUCO will cover that quite thoroughly. Our next meeting is April 24th, Monday at 4 p.m., subject to agenda items. That's the end of my report.
Okay, any comments or questions?
I just wonder on the resolution opposing the passage of the state of Ohio, had anybody thought of delivering it personally in Columbus, or are we going to do it by mail? How are we going to do that?
I was just going to do it by mail.
Okay.
All right. Service and Streets, Mr. Cavode's not here, has an excused absence. Mr. Lee?
The Streets and Services Committee met on March 13th as well. There were 4 agenda items. There was a discussion, a follow-up regarding correspondence received concerning the American Legion parking lot. That was discussed and was referred as a retreat item, which we did cover at the retreat. The second was the draft of the resolution approving the update of the solid waste management program. That was approved, and that resolution is before you this evening for passage. Second was a review of a resolution approving GMA Consulting as the village engineer. That was also approved, and that resolution is before you for passage tonight as well. We discussed and tabled further discussion concerning the banner pole replacements. We received an estimate to repair and replace, which seemed rather high, and we're revisiting that issue. We also discussed street signs, particularly the sign at Sharon Road in Junefield. I think what Mike was proposing was to put a sign similar to the one that they tested out at Burley Circle temporarily until we move forward with our street overall street sign replacement. Unless you have any questions, that's the end of the report.
Okay, hearing none. Moving on to unfinished business and general orders. Ordinance number 2017-05-LNR. Mr. Lee?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the second reading of ordinance 2017-05 LNR, an ordinance enacting and adopting the supplement of the Code of Ordinances for the Village of Greenhills. Whereas the American Legal Publishing Corporation of Cincinnati, Ohio has completed the 2016 supplement to the Code of Ordinance for the Village of Greenhills, which supplement contains all ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted since the prior supplement to the Code of Greenhills. And whereas American Legal Publishing Corporation has recommended the revision or addition of certain sections of the Code of Ordinances which are based on or make reference to sections of the Ohio Revised Code. And whereas it is the intent of the council to accept these updated sections in accordance with the changes of the law of the state of Ohio, and whereas it is necessary to provide for the usual daily operation of the municipality, now therefore be ordained by the council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the 2016 supplement to the Code of Ordinances of Greenhills as submitted by the American Legal Publishing Corporation of Cincinnati, Ohio, and on file in the office of the clerk, be and these same is hereby adopted by reference as if set out in its entirety. Section 2, such supplement shall be deemed published as of the day of its adoption and approval by the council, and the clerk of council of Greenhills is hereby authorized and ordered to insert such supplement into the copy of the Code and Ordinances kept on file in the office of the clerk. Section 3, this ordinance shall be in full force and take effect from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move that this ordinance be adopted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions?
How long do we have before we produce ourselves our books to have the new things on?
Yeah, you
The
can
new
bring them
inserts.
anytime for updating.
And we give it to Brenda Davis downstairs then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just do want to point out, please realize that the online version will always be the most updated version you have, because we only do our, the hard copy maybe every year, year and a half, so just want to point that out. Don't forget to
What's
refer
the
to online
cost
version.
associated with the paper copy?
You know, it isn't actually broken out, but I'm going to ask him if we reduce our number of copies. There's a certain number that we,
I know, I said it. Yes, I said it.
yeah, it
The guy that
depends.
likes the coffee in one hand and the paper in the other, I did say that. I did ask the question.
Because because that online version is always, you know, we update that quarterly.
Yep.
So just definitely always refer to that. I will see how much it can reduce to maybe, I think we get 20 copies now. If we can drop it to maybe 12, what would that do for us? So,
And this might be an odd question, but are cases coming here to the court on Thursdays that would have anything to do with zoning or anything like that, that they may need one of the books here, or they would have it online?
They've got a book here.
They have a book here for that? Okay.
Okay, clerk call the roll.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay, ordinance number 2017-05-LNR passes. Okay, new business, resolution number 2017-11-CD. And,
actually,
Actually, that's actually S and S.
oh, S&S?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, you got another one.
I got another one. I got them all tonight. Resolution number 2017-11 S&S, a resolution approving the update of the solid waste management plan of Hamilton County Solid Waste Management District. Whereas pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 373 Ohio Revised Code, the Act, the Hamilton County Solid Waste Management District Policy Committee, the Policy Committee, has adopted an update of the solid waste management plan, or plan update for Hamilton County Solid Waste Management District, the district. And whereas pursuant to the act, the Board of County Commissioners in the district and the legislative authority of each municipal corporation or township under the jurisdiction of the district must approve or disapprove the plan update by ordinance or resolution. And whereas Greenhills has reviewed the plan update and has determined that the plan update is in the best interest of the Greenhills and Hamilton County, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of Greenhills, Ohio, Hamilton County, Ohio. Section 1, Greenhills Village Council hereby approves the Hamilton County Plan Update. Section 2, it hereby is certified that all formal actions of the Council of Greenhills relating to the adoption of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of the Council of Greenhills, and that all deliberations of the Council of Greenhills were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this resolution and the final agreement shall take effect and be in full force from and after the date of its passage. Section 4, the clerk is hereby directed to promptly deliver or cause to be delivered a copy of this resolution to the Hamilton County Solid Waste Management District. Mr. Mayor, I move the passage of this resolution.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to pass Resolution 2017-11 SNS. Any comments or questions?
Just want to note that it's also recommended by the committee, not just by staff, as indicated on the agenda.
Clerk, call the roll.
I didn't catch that.
It was recommended by the Streets and Service as well, by the committee,
Not just
not
staff.
just by staff, as indicated on the agenda. Feel free to copy those words for the next three that we've.
Thank you. Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-11 SNS passes. Next, Resolution 2017-12 SNS. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2017-12 SNS, authorizing the municipal manager to execute an agreement with JMA Consultant, Inc. for engineering services. Whereas the Village of Greenhills is utilizing GMA Consultants, Inc. for the Nature Works project, and whereas Greenhills would like to utilize the services of JMA Consultants, Inc. for other engineering services in the Village of Greenhills. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to execute an agreement with GMA Consultants, Inc. for engineering services. Section 2, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2017-12 SNS. Any comments or questions?
This one was also recommended by the Streets and Services Committee along with staff.
All right. Clerk, call the roll.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-12 SNS passes. Next resolution, 2017-13 SNS. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2017-13 SNS, resolution supporting the proposed ODOT bicycle route USB R25 to be designated a U.S. bicycle route. Whereas bicycle tourism is a growing industry in North America, contributing $133 billion a year to the economies of communities that provide facilities for such tourists. And whereas the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, AASHTO, has designated a series of corridors crossing Ohio to be developed as various U.S. bicycle routes, and whereas the Ohio Department of Transportation has designated a series of corridors crossing Ohio to be developed as various U.S. bicycle routes to connect the U.S. bicycle routes and communities, and whereas the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, has designated a series of corridors crossing Ohio to be developed as various state bicycle routes, and whereas the Ohio Department of Transportation is supportive of AASHTO designated bicycle routes through Ohio, subject to ongoing collaboration with affected jurisdictions to inventory, analyze, and designate specific facilities the routes will traverse. And whereas the Village of Greenhills and the Adventure Cycling Association, with the cooperation of the Ohio Department of Transportation and other stakeholders, have proposed a specific route, USBR 25, to be designated, a map of which is attached as Exhibit A and by reference incorporated herein to this resolution. And whereas the proposed route through Greenhills has been investigated and found to be a suitable route, and desire that the route be designated so it can be mapped and signed, thereby promoting bicycle tourism in our area. Pardon me, I was about ready to sneeze. Therefore, be it resolved, Section 1, the Village of Greenhills hereby expresses its approval and support for the development of state and U.S. bicycle routes and requests that the appropriate officials have this route officially designated by AASHTO and the Ohio Department of Transportation. Once the route is approved, there may be efforts to publicize the route. Section 2, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the date of its passage. Mr. Mayor, I move that for the adoption of resolution.
I second it.
Okay. Moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2017-13-SNS. Any comments or questions?
It was also
It's also
recommended.
recommended by the Streets and Services.
Right.
Thank you.
And when they talk about appropriate signage, I wonder if the Park District would allow us to put,
I
when it
was
goes into
thinking about that.
Green Hills
Yeah.
National Historic Landmark.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not our road, so it's totally on their property, but, okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2017-13-SNS has been approved. Next resolution, 2017-14-LNR. Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee, would you like some assistance?
You were doing a fantastic job.
I'm fine. Just if I go into a coughing fit, you know.
We'll just keep reading for
Yeah,
you.
just keep reading. Resolution number 2017-14-LNR, opposing the passage of the State of Ohio's proposed 2017-2018 budget, which proposes centralized collection of net profit tax returns and other provision related to the municipal income tax, causing financial harm to the Village of Greenhills and other municipalities while encroaching upon the Village of Greenhills' home rule powers granted by the Ohio Constitution. Whereas it is proposed in the state's 2017-2018 budget to institute a state-controlled program for the centralized collection of local municipal income tax, and whereas the Village of Greenhills is supportive of creating a business-friendly environment in Greenhills and throughout the state of Ohio with consistent standards for net profit reporting without added layers of state bureaucracy, and whereas the Village of Greenhills is opposed to all encroachment upon the village rights of local self-government conferred by the Ohio Constitution, and whereas the state of Ohio should partner with communities in growing the economy and access to higher paying jobs rather than taking local revenue to grow the state government. And whereas the Village of Greenhills is strongly opposed to revisions on municipal tax collection that decreases local control and flexibility while increasing the size of an overreaching centralized state government at the expense of local government. And whereas the Village of Greenhills is opposed to revisions, reversed compromises, and broken promises made by the state, such as the local government fund, financially harming the Village of Greenhills and other local governments. And whereas the Village of Greenhills is opposed to additional requirements and unnecessary burdensome demands imposed to the benefit of special interest groups. And whereas the Village of Greenhills is opposed to revisions imposing an additional and growing layer of state bureaucracy that prescribes all forms, policy, instruction, enforcement action, and publications for the part of municipal income taxes, and ultimately motivated to centralize all aspects of municipal income tax collection and redistribution. And whereas the Village of Greenhills understands the state's history of diminishing local control to increase centralized revenues and weaken local decision-making, and whereas the proposal creates ongoing uncertainty of how much locally generated revenues will return to the community, this places the Village of Greenhills' financial integrity at risk and will result in declining services and higher taxes. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the Village of Greenhills does hereby declare that the Ohio General Assembly should request an immediate removal of all language pertaining to the municipal income tax collection and administration. Section 2, that the Clerk of Council is hereby directed to transmit a certified copy of this resolution to Speaker Rosenberger, Representative Zeltwanger, Governor Kasich, and all members of the House of Representatives, Ohio State Senate, and candidates for governor. Section 3, that the Village of Greenhills, through its elected and appointed officials, will cooperate with other municipalities in the Ohio Municipal League to achieve a municipal income tax administration that is business-friendly without causing excess harm to the Village of Greenhills and other municipalities. Section 4, that this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I strongly recommend the passage of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Resolution 2017-14-LNR. Any comments?
It was
This
recommended.
passed by laws and rules, wasn't it?
Yes, it
Recommended?
was.
It was,
Yeah.
yes.
Any other comments? I noticed the governor's now released information that this is going to save taxpayers in Ohio a lot of money, so he's putting on its offensive to get this thing passed through the state. And hopefully the state legislators will listen to the municipalities, but you never know.
Is there anything else that can be done besides the resolution?
Well, there are
on our
certain
part?
periods of time that you can go and ask for an audience in which you can speak against it. I would be willing to go with anybody that would like to go.
Do you know when those take place?
Mr. Forbes?
Well, they've already had some of the committee testimony. I know there were at least 2 days where opponents have already provided testimony in opposition to it.
But that was just the very beginning. I know there would be more, and
Well-
also there would be on
That was at the
Later
initial
on.
committee.
Yeah,
at
correct.
in one side of the legislature. When it goes to the other side, and it will, I assume, get referred to some committee there, that's where the opportunity for testimony typically is.
And then what's the deciding factor? In other words, yeah, we can say, we're not happy, you're walking away from home rule, and we can say that strongly, but
What if
What-
they do it anyway?
yeah, what
I mean, I suppose an option is much like what has recently happened with the small cell wireless facility legislation, where municipalities objected to that. They adopted it anyway. As of this morning, I checked, there are at least 4 separate lawsuits filed throughout the state of Ohio, seeking to have it ruled unconstitutional because, in part, because it violates the home rule provisions of the Ohio Constitution.
And then in something like that, is there any way to join forces, or is that individual lawsuits?
I can tell you that one of the lawsuits that was filed in Franklin County I'm going to use the small cell facility as an example. The one that was filed in Franklin County has 50 municipalities listed as plaintiffs. There's another one that was filed in Summit County that has 20 more municipalities. The city of Cleveland filed one on its own, and the city of Toledo has filed on its own. So I think like 72 municipalities are represented through at least 4 different county court systems.
Which
Not
has,
in Hamilton County, though.
No, there are some communities from Hamilton County that have joined the, what I'm calling the Central Ohio, the Franklin County lawsuit.
Okay.
what's interesting to me is that for many years, as you know, the states really push back against too heavy-handed federal,
Right.
Being too heavy-handed, and it seems like they're stepping in their stead. But hopefully, this will be delivered and heard.
Yeah. Okay, clerk call the roll.
Walther,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Okay, resolution 2017-14-LNR passes. All right, calendar.
Leaf collection. It will start April 10th, so have your leaves out bright and early on Monday, April 10th. It might not happen until later in the week on your street, but if you put them out after they've gone down your street, it's too late. April 16th, on Easter, the Greenhouse Fire Department Easter egg hunt at 2 p.m. on the Commons. It'll be over quickly.
And if you miss your leaves to be collected by the village, you can always put them in the garbage for Rumpke.
I don't know if this is a calendar one, but it's kind of close, so I'm squeezing it in. Concert on the Common starts this summer, so that makes it a calendar issue. And if you would like to make a donation to the Greenhills Community Investment Improvement, or is investment?
CIC.
The Greenhills
CIC.
CIC.
Yeah.
The Greenhills CIC, Community Improvement Corporation, that supports it. It's not tax dollars that supports it, but donations. You can call the office here and tell them you're bringing a large check. No, actually, they will take any donations you'd like to make.
And the first concert's May 31st. And there are flyers, I think. Do we have them
them
downstairs?
downstairs,
And
yes.
at the Troubadour.
And I noticed on the website, it had both the 31st and June 7th listed as the first concert. So
The 7th is Jim Smith.
Jim
Miller.
Miller Day, but it
Jim
says
Miller.
first concert on the
I'm sorry, I
Commons.
thought I corrected that.
Okay,
Okay.
maybe and it said exclamation point ST. So maybe that's why I'm looking at it on a phone, it's little, so.
Okay. All right.
And I'm just
Check it.
curious, it's my understanding when you conduct weddings that you donate that money to the concerts.
Concert. Mhm.
I think that's a great thing.
So, and the
So
finance-
anybody who wants to get married. you're
Yeah,
happy
right.
to-
Support music.
Yeah, well, and this must be the time of the year. I have 3 scheduled for, I have one on April the 3rd, one on the 5th, and one on the 6th. So 3 next week.
I'm-
And it's $50 to get married. And so I think I've raised $2,200 so far for
That's fantastic.
concerts.
Well, I'm already married for.
And not testing
time.
your, yeah.
Well, I do remarriages also.
I'm not sure I want to give Holly the option. That's
In addition,
April the 6th is the committee for the recreation, and then the commission is the 13th.
April 29th is the Arbor Day celebration. It's going to be at 10 a.m., but we don't have a location yet unless
It will be up by the playground.
by the playground.
Yes.
Give me that date, please, again.
April 29th. And then April 30th is the Museum Center Historic Walk through Greenhills. So please sign up for that
And
as
there's a
well.
link on the website to link to Cincinnati Museum to sign up for that.
And Ms. Kovac, I am the, the provider of my tree for this, needs an X on the,
Right.
on a map,
Well,
whatever
right.
it is.
Okay.
And they
on a
will
map?
deliver it. Well, something, so
Yeah,
they
'cause
will
we won't
deliver
take the
it.
site until about 3 days before,
Okay.
but yeah,
But, location, street, exactly, he may not know what the playground is.
sure.
Okay.
April 24th, Monday at 4 p.m. is intergovernmental and laws and rules, subject to agenda. Also on April 24th at 5 p.m. is streets and services. And Mr. Kavod will conduct that meeting. And I will,
And anything that needs
dutifully,
to be passed, then it will be
Yeah,
passed,
yeah,
and the next
you-
time you'll be absent.
turnabout's fair
I
play. you know?
offered, I offered.
No, it's all right. I wanted to see if I could do it. I'm gonna do it.
That it? All right. Meeting adjourned.